The air crackles. Shadows twist just beyond the light. You're now tuned into the shadow frequency, where the unexplained whispers its secrets. Tonight, Matt Wilson takes you to a lonely Kentucky farmhouse, August 1955. A family, a saucer, and creatures that defy reason. Were they visitors from the stars, or something closer to home? Lock your doors, listeners. The unknown is knocking.
Welcome, seekers of the strange, to the Shadow Frequency. I'm your host, Matt Wilson, and tonight we're diving deep into the shadows of the unknown. Picture this, a quiet farmhouse in rural Kentucky, a warm summer night, and a family suddenly thrust into a nightmare they couldn't explain. It's August 21st, 1955, and what's about to unfold will become one of the most infamous encounters in UFO lore. We're talking about the Hopkinsville Goblins. Were they extraterrestrial invaders or something else entirely? Grab your headphones, dim the lights, and let's tune into the frequency of the bizarre. Let's set the scene. We're in Christian County, Kentucky, near the tiny communities of Kelly and Hopkinsville. It's a humid evening, and the Sutton family is gathered at their farmhouse. 5 adults, 7 kids, just living their lives. Around 7 p.m., one of the men, Billy Ray Taylor, steps outside to fetch water from the well. That's when he sees it, a bright streaking light in the sky, followed by what he swears is a metallic saucer-like object landing in a gully nearby. He rushes back inside, laughing it off at first, telling everyone about his flying saucer. The others brush it off. Billy's a bit of a joker after all. But about an hour later, the dogs start barking like mad. Something's out there. Billy and another guy, Elmer Lucky Sutton, grab their guns and head outside. What they see stops them cold. Small humanoid figures about 3 feet tall emerge from the darkness. Glowing eyes, oversized heads, spindly limbs, and a weird silvery sheen to their bodies. They don't walk so much as float toward the house. Naturally, Billy and Lucky freak out. They open fire. Shotguns, rifles, you name it, blasting away at these things from just feet away. But here's the kicker. The creatures don't drop. They flip backward, scramble off, and keep coming back, peering through the windows, clawing at the roof. For 4 hours, this family is under siege. By 11 p.m., they've had enough. They pile into their cars and speed to the Hopkinsville police station, terrified, begging for help. The cops show up, 4 city officers, 5 state troopers, even some military police from nearby Fort Campbell. They find bullet holes, shell casings, a rattled family, but no goblins. No blood, no bodies, just a lingering sense of unease. So what the hell happened that night? Was this an alien invasion, or a case of mistaken identity gone wild? Let's break it down. First, the alien invasion angle. Ufologists love this case, and for good reason. It's got everything: a sighting of a craft, multiple witnesses, a prolonged encounter. The descriptions of these goblins match what we'd later call greys, small, big-headed, otherworldly beings. Billy Ray swore he saw that saucer land, and the family's terror was so real that even skeptics admit something freaked them out. The fact that gunfire didn't faze these things, that's straight out of a sci-fi playbook. Maybe they had some kind of force field or weren't even flesh and blood. And get this, the Air Force's Project Blue Book investigated and labeled it a hoax, but they didn't elaborate. Sounds like a cover-up to me. What do you think? Government hiding little green men in Kentucky? But let's flip the script. Skeptics have their own take, and it's not half bad. They point to the natural world, specifically great horned owls. Hear me out, these birds are about the same height as goblins. They've got reflective eyes that glow in the dark, and they're known to swoop silently at night. The Suttons might have mistaken them for invaders, especially in the heat of panic. And in a meteor shower that night, verified by astronomers, and you've got Billy's saucer explained as a fireball streaking across the sky. Plus, the family had been at a carnival the week before where monster stories were all the rage. Mass hysteria kicks in, shots are fired, and suddenly owls become aliens. Plausible, right? Here's where it gets messy, though. The owl theory just doesn't fully hold up. Witnesses said these things floated, not flew. They had arms and hands. One even grabbed Billy's hair through a window. Owls don't do that. And the gunfire? Lucky and Billy were crack shots. They hit these things point blank and nothing. No feathers, no blood, just a metallic ping. Like they were shooting tin cans. That's not an owl, folks. That's something else. So maybe it's not aliens or owls. What if we're dealing with something trickier, like cryptids? The Hopkinsville Goblins have been compared to gremlins or hobgoblins from folklore. Kentucky's got a weird history. Think Mothman not too far away in West Virginia. Could these be interdimensional pranksters popping in to mess with us? Or maybe it's psychological. Mass psychogenic illness, where fear feeds itself. But 12 people, kids included, all seeing the same thing? That's a stretch. Here's my take. I lean toward the weird. The Suttons weren't drunk or liars. Neighbors vouch for them. The sheer detail, the glowing eyes, the floating, the clawing at the roof, it's too specific to dismiss. I don't buy the owl story, but I'm not sold on little green men either. Maybe it's a mix. Something real amplified by fear and the unknown. Whatever it was, it left a mark. This case inspired movies like Critters, Pokemon, even Spielberg's Unmade Night Skies. It's a shadow that lingers. Before we sign off, imagine you're there that night. You hear the dogs, see those eyes glowing in the dark. What do? Grab a gun or run? Drop your thoughts in the comments. Next time, we'll chase a different frequency. Until then, keep your eyes on the shadows because you never know what's watching back. This has been the Shadow Frequency. I'm Matt Wilson. Stay curious, stay spooky. Good night.
The shadows recede, but the questions remain. You've been riding the Shadow Frequency with Matt Wilson, peeling back the veil on the Hopkinsville Goblins, alien invaders, earthly tricksters, or a glitch in reality itself. The night holds its secrets tight. Join us next time when the frequency shifts again. Until then, watch the skies and the corners of your room. This is the Shadow Frequency signing off.